Hello, it's your Sleepless God back with a new video of What If Midoriya Got Betrayed, Part 5. In the last video, we saw Midoriya getting into a situation. We needed to get into Aizawa's help and get into Aizawa's basically training camp in a sense. He got into the training camp as he's basically now, he basically sees the motley crew. He sees Rose, a girl with bright red hair, and doesn't know her quirk yet, and a couple other characters, as Rose basically shows him the boxing arena where she basically boxes and kind of basically did a text boxing to see how much skill Midoriya has, showing that he has pretty good skill. Knowing that he can box around, do almost exactly Muhammad Ali's style of fighting. Like, fold like a butterfly, sting like a bee, that kind of fighting. As they get into a situation where it's like, now it's real time and she actually activates her quirk. Let's get this video started then. As she activates her quirk, let me explain it. It's called Overdrive. Overdrive is basically a quirk where it's basically overdrives everything in your body. Blood, everything. Sight, strength, blood cells, everything for a short amount of time though. Amount of time is how much training you've put into it. Like sometimes, like if you put no training at all, maybe 5 seconds. You basically become a superhuman for 5 seconds. That's it. With Rose, she put a lot of time in it. She's put a lot of effort into her ability. So she has a good max if she wants to hurt her. Like if she can max it out and like hurt her own body, because her blood cells get so thin that she can't, like, she needs like to sleep to get them back up and the blood cell count back up and the oxygen count back up. But max 3 to 4 minutes. Most of the time she only does 2 though. The side effect is also that your blood basically becomes boil a little bit because you're going at a hyper rate of like quickness and fast, and basically you just your body's basically overheating to that point, almost like entering the 8-gate state where like Guy basically starts burning his fucking, like, if you don't know, Guy, when he enters 8 gates, why they go to that red thing is because their freaking blood is boiling. To agree, like literally their body's overheating and their blood is boiling. So, let's start it out. As Midoriya sees this, as he kind of gets into he gets to a point where he's like, oh fuck, this is gonna hurt. As you see her blast off and just boom, 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 like 3 hits. As Midoriya dodges one, gets hit in the side, and like defends himself against the other one. As he slides back into, as she like blasts off almost and starts just slamming him. Like, think of just fist after fist after fist after fist, and just row. And he's just trying to block and trying to dodge, but he's just taking them now. Midoriya's just taking them. As you hear like steam, and like she stops and backs off a little bit, as you just see Midoriya's arms are just like literal steaming because of the heat of the punches and how fast they were going and how quick they were moving, like how like absolutely massively, like they were like going super fast, motherfucker. Yes, like they were going at least a good 5 to 10 miles per hour for like a brief second. It's not like, oh, like a long punch, no, like, but like for like like to the point where they were about to hit to their hit, like almost 3 to 4 inches, they were going a good 5 to 10 miles an hour. Miles an hour. And she's still holding back. As you just see him just like, fuck. As she, like, her veins start slowing down, he's like, don't slow on me yet. I'm not done. As Midoriya blasts off like her and almost like does a side slash as she just hits him jaw, hits her in the jaw, just boom. As he just almost like this quick motion of just pop, slide, hitting them, boom, 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 boom. As she just activates her, like fully activates as she starts punching, but like it seems like Midoriya almost got the speed down a little bit, got it estimated her diet and just started fucking dodging. And she started cranking up the speed. Now, if you don't know, the average rate of a human being's fastest running speed, average, is 12. Now, it might be less, might be more. 12. The fastest, fastest like Olympic running time is usually like how many miles per hour they can run is usually 17 to 18. Around that range. Around that range is 17 to 18 miles per hour. She's throwing these punches at 15 to 16 miles per hour. And just remember, she's not like, the arm is still a small-ish muscle. Like, okay, comparison to like the legs. So she's fucking chucking these at 16 to 17 miles an hour, and Midoriya is dodging them. And he's dodging, moving, and he hit her with a clip to the jawline as she hits him in the hits her in the stomach, as it like almost like a counteract. Boom! As you just hear the shockwave, as they both kind of like collapse as Midoriya like wipes off his face, as you see him like get on the corner, and like he's like on the ropes, and he's like trying to get his breath back as Rose just gets back up and she's like oh that fucking as she goes back up and like deletes her, like turns off her cork, and she's just like that was a good one. As you see Aizawa pop in, like bust in, not even like pop in, but bust in a little bit. And he looks around and he looks at Rose and he says, I told you to like show him around, not fucking murder him. As Rose just said, I just had to check out if he was right for the task. As Midoriya looks at the Rose and looks at Aizawa and says, what task? As Rose is basically the person who trains all the new recruits, and if they don't reach her standards of can take it, she basically kicks them out and not let them in. You almost, as Rose looks down at, as you almost forgot one. Rose is also a has a very famous house to her. She's very wealthy in a sense. As Rose takes off her gloves, puts them down, and reaches out her hand, Rose Valentine. As Midoriya smiles and says, "Ah, yes, I know. My mother used to work for your company. Very beautiful woman." He's like, "Oh, she both of them shook their hand. He's like, "Oh, what's her name?" And she says, Inko Midoriya, if you remember, probably not. Thousands of workers. Like, no, I remember her. She was my father's secretary, I think. She, very nice woman, very hardworking, and she had to be let go. No. As Rose looked back, didn't she quit? Yeah. She got, it was taking way too much time off her social life, and, she said today, as that's what Rose says, as Midoriya looks at her and says, yes, I would guess that's what she probably would say. As Rose smiles and says, well, what I didn't tell you, and what I will tell you, is I'm from a very fighting house. Everything is fought for, clawed, punched, hit. Why do you think I can box so well? And I learned how to kickbox, box, judo, kwando. A lot of other martial arts too. Usually we find what we want to marry by fighting. And if someone can match us or even top us, usually we get married on the spot. But as Midoriya's eyes go wide as he smiles and says, so, you're saying to me, this entire training thing was not just to check my ability that I'm top enough, but also to see if I am proper mating material? As Rose looks at him and her face gets a little bit red and he says, yes, in a sense, and he just says, well, I count that as a opportunity change. I feel like I just hit two birds with one stone. One, I get training, and one, I get a girlfriend. I don't know what the fuck fuck, that is a minus in. As Rose looks at him and just says, that means you would have to do the proper research on how to run a company and service a company, stocks and everything like that. You know, as Midoriya smiles and says, Rose, I'm running a multi-million-dollar company by myself, no employees, with website coding and stock market. By myself that I put up when I was 13 years old. Don't worry, you're not the only one with a little bit of money. As this is some backstory to this, Midoriya is a genius. He was smart, and he decided to make a company with technology, and he used technology to judge the stock market, use coding to figure out what's the best representation by graphing and stuff like that, and using statistics, and then the Midoriya put in certain types of money, almost not 1 million, but $1,000 in each company, as some of them dropped and some of them grew, as most of them grew, as he got more and more money as his family grew and grew and grew. This is also why Midoriya's mom quit the job. She didn't need to. She worked. There have already basically been millionaires, or trillionaires, from, I shouldn't say millionaires for a very long time, and she had to help Midoriya basically run the company by themselves. Like, yes, the program studies everything, but they have to sell the stocks and do all that stuff. They have to run the company, basically, and that's what she basically did with Midoriya for most of the year. As Rose backed up and she says, I never heard of your... Yes, I sold it a couple years ago. Got a couple million off of it. And have you ever heard of QYart.com? As Rose's eyes go wide and says, that's yours? We just bought that off of another company. It's back that we can use. And he just says, that was mine. And I've made millions off of the stock market and almost $1 trillion off of just apps that I've made and put on the App Store. You will not have to worry about me not knowing stuff. But if you want to, and I would like to know you a lot better before we start, I would like to start being friends before we start dating. Especially because multi-million-dollar companies mixing together in this way would have to reschedule our programs and figure out what we need to do. As we see Midoriya kind of jump over the bars, as he jumps down and says, "Well, I'll see you next time, Rose." As he waves his hand away, as Rose looks at him and smiles, as he walks next to Zawa and says, "Zawa, next time." He says, "Same time next day. Just remember, the UA festival is coming up shortly. Almost a week from now, that's going to be coming." As I was almost looking at him like princessly and says, as Midori nods and said, "I know. I'm getting ready for it. Just don't use," as Midori looks around and says, "use me as a cool entrance. Put me in there at the last mission as possible, okay?" See if Nezu would allow it. As Midoriya walked out, as Midoriya exits the training hall and goes back to his house. As Midoriya goes into his house, as he looks at his computer, as we see thousands on thousands, because he has like 30 computers. He has his regular school computer that he's been using for schoolwork and all that stuff. I'm saying that they have a regular school computer because that's like just makes sense to me. They have his normal laptop that looks like it's been like modified, that he's basically running the programs on, using the stock market and blah blah blah, making money, making bank. Like, Midoriya is a genius, and he is making lots of money. And one of his is another computer that's basically just another computer for holding data, gaming, porn, lots of other things. Just normal hentai, just a lot of different things, just web browser information, just don't need to know, like a lot of just different other things. As he, as that one's obviously closed. As he's like, as he looks at his school computer, he's still doing schoolwork. As I was still resuming schoolwork, he's just finishing at home. He gets the website. He gets basically just a link, finishes it, sends it back to him in an email. But he just starts, checks his email, looks for Aizawa's thing. He finds it, finishes his work. He looks at 125 sent emails from his classmates. 125. He says, a lot of them say, "Hey bro, I'm sorry that I misjudged you. It was my fault. You should come back." Some of them are saying, "Hey bro, just come back to school. We miss you." And some are, Bakuro even sent one. Is just like, Bakuro's one is actually probably the one he only, like the one that's like, and Bakuro says, "I know these assholes fucking betrayed you, and if you didn't want to come back, I'm not gonna disrespect you, but just remember, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I know I said some shit back then when we were kids, and even when we were in grade school, but you're going through some shit, and I get it. I just telling you now, if you come back, I'll get you 100%, and I will not hold back from these. I've already almost blown up a lot of these people." As a couple, like Jiro sent one. Jiro said, bro, just, no, Jiro's like, here's some songs to listen to. Sorry for your loss. The songs are good, obviously. It's Jiro, but Momo says, hope you're getting your classwork done. I will see you when you come back. Have as much morning time as possible. And the hardest one for Midoriya was Araka's. Araka sent one. He said she put down, "So I know that I betrayed you and all that stuff, but can you please come back to school. I've always wanted to tell you this, but I love you, and I want us to be together, but I don't. I'm sorry, but I just I think we should, talk this out. As Midoriya looks at the email as there's 3 other emails that's also that, and it's just it's from also from Araka, just Midoriya, I need you here. You made me stronger. I know you're mourning now because your mother's death, but can you please come back to school? The next one. Midoriya, I know that some stuff has been happening, and I know that a lot of things have seemed to be our fault for not believing you, but can you please come back? I love you. As Midoriya looks at him and smiles and says, "Oh, this is gonna be a weird awakening when I come back with basically a wife." As we're gonna do a slight time skip, a 2-day time skip, as Rose and Midoriya starts hanging out with more and start training with more, and they start they're girlfriend and boyfriend, but in that sense of we're still figuring stuff out. We're still talking to each other. We're still not knowing each other. They did merge their companies together though, and his father and mother instantly, Rose's father and mother instantly said yes. 2 multi-million-dollar companies combining together. Midoriya's tech smart with her millions of company members. Number 1, business savvy and basically just workers around the clock that can do stuff, has basically made them tech giants, informational giants, and fucking rich. You think the Ayarozu family, Momo's family, is rich? There are triple and double that amount. Their bank accounts, if it was it was in the trillions, at least 3 trillion, not million, not billion, trillion. They're fucking rich. They're mega rich. They're over the 1%. They're in almost, this is the 0.01%. It's fucking hilarious. I love it. That's the point where I want to get. As Midoriya is basically talking to Rose, they're basically sitting at a lunch table together in a nice cafe, as they're both eating food as they're just talking. As Midoriya already told her the entire story, and she almost killed them. Almost went down to UA and snapped necks, ripped out throats, especially Uraka, especially when he said, especially because she's now he's letting her read the emails that Uraka and everyone else sent, and she is mad. Not for the reason of, just come back. Momo, she's oh yeah, I know Momo. Momo's nice. Bako, he read Bako's okay, that seems what did he tell you when you were in grade school? And he told her that story too, and she's I might punch him, but he's at least turning a new leaf. He's at least doing something else. And she got down to Uraka's letters. She almost fucking did it. She almost walked down there herself, turned on her quirk, and fucking smashed heads with that one quirk, with that one thing. Because how could you put your own self-worth over someone else's? How? I know, a man, how can you put Midoriya, who's been dealing with loss, regret, and all that stuff, with you loving him, caring about him, and putting that stuff on him too, putting that stress on him? How can, all these emails are basically just putting stress on him to come back, but he can't. It's that's the main point why she is so mad. Imagine you just lost a loved one, and you're I need a break from work or school, or something individually, and then you have teachers or something come back, it's nothing, or you broke your leg, And the teachers are just like, deny the pain. Just keep on going. Just go to dream class or something. No, you won't. It's physically impossible. Like, you can't. And that's why she's so pissed. She's like, it's not even been a week yet. It's been like, Inko Midoriya has died 4 fucking days ago. 4 days ago, and they're already emailing him 100 different emails that he has to read. Not have to, but like sees every day, and just is like, that's why she's so pissed. That's why she's so mad. And she's like, okay, I see that I have to be jealous a little bit, but some of these emails are okay. As she scrolls down the emails, and she sees, a couple of them that are decent, like, she sees like the song ones, and she's like, yeah, that's okay. I don't. As she scrolls down to ones that I didn't tell you, she starts scrolling down, and she finds an All Might one that hasn't been opened, not touched, and he says, All Might, I see that, and Midoriya shuts the computer, grabs it, puts it back into his bag, and she looks at him and says, personal, way too personal. It says you haven't opened it at all, or even touched it. He looks at her and says, too personal. As she says, you want to come back to my apartment? She looks at him, and he looks at her and says, no funny business, right? As she smiles and says, what do you mean? Like, what would we do? As they both go back to their apartment, as for a beautiful 24 hours, there will be, and you will know, and you can hear, lots of fun happening. And all I have to say is, Midoriya knows how to fucking... Midoriya knows how to please a woman for a very long period of time. And he can do a lot in a very long period of time. Okay, it's your sleep as God is out. Like, share, fuck. Like, subscribe, and comment down below what other what ifs you want me to do, or some ideas that I should put into this what if. So, see you guys later. Goodbye.